Welcome everybody to our Green Acres. In last week's video, I showed y'all some wooden crates and how I added some transfers to them to add some, some details, but leaving the wood natural. Now I have this little wooden sewing box, and I looked this up online just to see, see if it's worth anything, just get a little bit more information about it. And this is what I found. It was just a vintage sewing box, and I think that price was $45. I love the natural wood color of it, and sometimes instead of painting things, so we just leave things, a wood color, but you want to add a little bit of detail to it. Transfers are a great embellishment for them. Now, I always have pieces of transfers left over, and I like to use them as soon as I can because they get damaged, and this is one of them. I used part of this transfer in my last week's video and applied some of it to some crates. This is the clock that I had left over, and you can see the bottom of it had already got damaged. So I'm going to take this clock because it is too pretty to waste it, but I'm going to go on and put it on the front of my little sewing box. And this is just going to make it look like it's distressed, and that'll be good. And then I'm going to take some new transfers that I just recently received, and I'm going to take some of these little pink flowers. I love the pink on the browns. I think they just really pop. Now I'm going to apply this one right here in the corner, and then I'm going to take another flower that I have, and this is out of a transfer book from IOD. Now I'm just going to go around it because I only want to put part of the flower on the top of the little box, and I'm just kind of going around and just laying it out, just seeing where they will fit the best and cutting off any excess. Now once I get them the way I want them, then I'm going to apply them. And I just apply them with the little, application tool that they give you. And transfers are so easy to apply, but they add such a great detail to things. I absolutely love using transfers. And I'll leave a link to the transfers that I'm using on this little box. I'll leave them down below in my description box. But just a little easy little detail that we added to our little sewing box. And I forgot to mention, I picked this up at a thrift store, and I can't remember what I paid for it. I think I paid $4.99 for it. I'm just going to go over it a little bit with a sanding block just to kind of give it a little bit more distressing, just to make it look like it is worn into the wood. Now we've got a great little piece that we can set out and add some florals and some greenery to. The next project I'm going to upcycle is going to be a frame that I found at Goodwill. And I can't remember how much I paid for this, but it was less than $5. But anytime I find frames, I always pick them up and keep them in my supplies because I always can use them. And I love doing DIYs with these. I just refreshed mine with a couple coats of paint. You can paint in any color you want to. And I also painted that little backboard because on that little backboard, I'm going to apply one of these beautiful transfers. These are a new release, and I'll leave a link to these down below also. Once I got it placed on my backboard the way I wanted it, I used painter's tape to secure it in place. I go across it with my little transfer tool, make sure it adheres really well, and then you just want to peel off the clear sheet. I styled this pretty frame with some little yard sale finds that I recently went to. I went to a fantastic yard sale that had some beautiful home decor. So if you haven't seen that video, I'm going to leave a link down below. It's kind of a short video, but it was one of the best home decor yard sales I've ever been to. These are just a few of the pieces that I got. I got a ton of stuff, and there will be a yard sale haul video coming out soon, so be on the lookout for that. I want to give a huge thank you to Bellway for sponsoring today's video. If you are looking for ways to keep yourself healthy like I am, you want to consider Bellway. They have an assortment of different kinds of products that will help with all kinds of things. It will help keep your stomach healthy. It will help you if you are on a weight loss diet. You know, they have good ones that are good for your hair and for your skin. Another great thing about Bellway is it was easy to get. I just went online to Target. Target is one of the retailers that carries their products. I went online, ordered what I wanted, and it came straight to my door. A couple of the products that I wanted to try was the Super Fiber Capsules. These are prebiotics, they are dietary supplements, and they also will help regulate digestion. If you don't want to take capsules, they also have powder and mixtures. You just add 1 scoop to 8 ounces of water. You mix it up really good, and it wasn't hard to mix at all. The flavor I got was strawberry lemonade, and it tasted really good. They use real fruit, and they also use natural flavors. Both of these products can improve your skin, your hair, and your nails. Bellway has been so generous to offer my viewers 25% off your first order. So I'm going to leave a discount code down below in my description, so make sure to go out and check it out. Okay, back to our projects. Have y'all ever dried flowers? This is my first time of trying. I have tried to dry hydrangeas and have never had good luck because they always shed so bad. But I bought some little inexpensive real roses at Walmart a few weeks ago, and when they started to get kind of droopy, I decided to tie them together in a bunch, and I hung them upside down in a closet. You want to put them in a dry, dark place. I left them in there probably, what I researched said a couple to 3 weeks. So that's what I did. I took them out, and this is what they look like. I feel like the roses did really well. There's not a lot of shedding, but the leaves did shed. So I decided just to take all the leaves off the stems, and then here's a couple of ways. After you get your beautiful roses dried, you can either tie a really pretty scrap fabric ribbon around them, or if you want to add a little filler to them, you can add, some kind of greenery. I had this baby's breath on hand, but if you have real dried baby's breath, I think that would be absolutely beautiful. I'm going to be on the lookout for some. But this right here, I think I got at Walmart. But just to go around, just kind of put your roses in it. And like I say, just to give it some filler. Now I'm going to make like a messy bow to go on it, and I'm just taking scrap fabrics that I have. I'm just going to pile them up on top of each other. You want to make it pretty full, and then I'm just going to tie a scrap piece of fabric around it just to make a really long tie. You want to tie it in the center, and once you get it tied really tight, then you want to go around on each end. You want to get some scissors and trim down your bows, your ribbons, because you want to make sure that they're full. Just kind of fluff them out, and now this will make a great embellishment for our dried roses. I think these turned out so pretty, and they've got such a pretty vintage look. Here I am trimming down the ends, and you just want to trim it down to the size that you want it. And once I get it done, of course, I'm going to add some Totally Dazzled jewelry, and I'm going to leave a link to Totally Dazzled down below. So if you want to go out and shop their website for some beautiful bling to embellish your projects, or even you can wear their jewelry, or you can make DIY projects with it. I'll leave a link to their website down below. Here's another idea for dried florals or the roses. I took 3 of my roses, and I'm going to take a thrifted frame, and then I'm just going to cut out a piece of cardboard that's from a cereal box to fit the back of my frame. I'm going to use a little hot glue, and then I'm going to add a piece of burlap, and then I'm just going to take my brayer, roll over it, and smooth it out really well, cut around the edges, and just cut it down to the size of the piece of cardboard. Now I'm going to put it back in my frame to ensure that it's going to fit, and this is going to make a great little rustic background for our roses, and I think this frame was perfect for this project. Now I'm just going to take a piece of scrap fabric that I have, and I'm just going to tie my roses. I'm going to tie them together in a bow. Now, depending on what size frame you use, you could, make your little bundle of roses. I did 3, but you could also do more if you have a larger frame. But I think these right here make beautiful pieces to set out, especially if you have some roses left over, maybe from a special occasion, maybe from a wedding or an anniversary party, or if somebody special just gave you some roses and you want to keep them. This is a great way that you can save them and display them. Now I'm going to add a little bit of some French writing. This is a little piece of a transfer. That transfer that I'm trying to use up, I'm just going to add a little bit of that to my little scrap fabric, and then that just adds a little bit more detail to it. Now you could also, if you want to, you could stencil something on this. It just adds a little bit more, embellishment to it. Now I'm going to use a little bit of hot glue. I'm going to glue it onto the background, and then when I style it, I'm going to show you a few ways of things that you can add to it just to, give it a little bit more detail. But I absolutely love the way my dried roses turned out, and I've already made 2 projects out of them, and the sky is the limit on things that you can do with dried florals, so I can't wait to dry some more. Here's another really fun project, and I can't wait to show y'all these fun little fabric flowers. Now these will be no sew, we're just going to use some hot glue. You want to take some flexible wire. I'm using some wire, I think I either got this at Walmart or possibly Dollar Tree, but it's very easy to bend. But you just want to kind of loop around the top like I just did using some pliers, and then using a little vintage little teacup saucer that you can see up there by my blue scissors. I just use that, trace 4 circles out of some fabric, and this is like a little baby receiving blanket. Sometimes you can pick those up in a pack of 2 or 3, and they're very inexpensive, and a lot of times they come in some little Shabby Chic designs. So I'm just taking them. I poked a hole in each one using some little sharp scissors, and then you just want to take some hot glue, put some hot glue around the wire, and then just bunch up your flowers around the bottom and make them look like flower petals, because that's what we're doing. We're shaping and making some little fabric flowers. I do that to the second petal, and you just go and do it to the 3rd one and then the 4th one. Now if I'm using a low temperature glue gun, and with this fabric I did not burn my fingers, but later on using a different fabric, the hot glue did get hot and it did burn my fingers. So I want to point that out. If you have sensitive fingers, or if you're using, some really hot glue, make sure to wear some finger protectors. I don't want anybody to get burnt. Now look how pretty this turned out. Now once I got to making these, I got a little addicted. They're so easy to make, they go fast. But you could make several of these and just make a little bunch of them, put them in a little vase and display them. Now here is a little teacup saucer that I'm using for my pattern, but you can use whatever you have on hand. Now I'm using some stained flour sackcloth. I just stain it in coffee. You can also stain the flour sackcloth in tea if you have that on hand. Now again, you just want to cut 4 circles, and once you get them all cut, you just want to go in the center with something sharp and poke a little hole. And again, once you get all the little holes poked, then you just want to loop your little wire around on the top, and just use some pliers, and you just want to loop it like that. Now you do that because that will assure that the petals won't come off at the top. Now if you're worried that maybe the top of that wire may show through once you get your flower made, you could always paint it, or you could also put an embellishment in the center to disguise it. I could not see it on any of the ones that I made because the fabrics that I used were pretty full and fluffy. So again, just apply your little circles. Just keep applying them to each other, working your way up, and just shaping it into a flower. I think these right here turned out absolutely beautiful, and I think the flower sackcloth at this point was my favorite until I got this lace doily. This was an old tablecloth that I purchased at a yard sale for $2. It's always kind of been kind of dingy looking to me, so I cut it up and use it on my DIY projects. Again, I'm just going to cut 4 circles, And once I got all my circles cut, I just go around and bend my wire. And like I told y'all, these were really fun to make. So if you're looking for a fun project that don't cost a lot of money and it's real easy, I highly recommend this project. This would be a great project if you want something to do, maybe, if you're having, a ladies' craft session at church or something, this would be a fun one to do. And again, with this lace doily, I just work my way up the wire using my little 4 circles, apply the glue as I need it. But I did find out using the doily, and it's got holes in it, this hot glue got on my fingers, and this is when I got burned. So I went and I got my little Dollar Tree finger protectors. I don't like wearing the finger protectors because they don't fit my fingers very good, but you should have seen the hot glue that was on the finger protectors when I took them off. So that just goes to show all that hot glue would have been on my fingers. I made a few more variations of these. I'm not going to bore you with how to make them again because I've showed you enough of that, but I used some lace, and also I'm going to show you how you can embellish one. Use the last circle that you apply your flower petal, and I did burlap. So just giving you more ideas and inspiration on how to make these, and then I cannot wait to make some more of these because like I say, these were so easy and so much fun. The next project is a true trash to treasure and was free for me. These pieces of scrap wood were in the trash can over at our condo. Y'all know we are remodeling a condo we just purchased, and I have a new channel, and I'm going to have all that information to the new channel at the end of this video. But these 3 blocks were in the trash, and I cannot stand for scrap wood to get thrown away. So I picked them out, I brought them home, and I thought, what can I make out of these? So the first thing I did was I sanded them down to smooth them up, and then I just put some antiquing wax over them just so they'll have a pretty brown base. Now I love milk paint, and I love trying different methods with it. My friend Jackie at Ruth and Ruby, she sells this milk paint. It comes in 54 different colors. I'm going to leave a link to her shop down below, but I hope y'all will buy some milk paint and try it because y'all, it is a great, it just has such a great technique, and you get such a great outcome with it. But I just use Sweetie Jane. This is a beautiful summer spring green, and I just applied 2 layers. After the first layer, I used my blow dryer to add some heat to it. Then I added my second layer. Now for one of the blocks, I wanted to add just a little bit of contrasting color, just some pretty spring and summer colors. And this, I think, was called Tickled Pink. But anyway, I'll have it linked down below. But I absolutely love this pink. So again, you just want to add a layer. I used my blow dryer, added some heat to it, applied another layer, let it dry really well, and then the fun happens. This is when the magic happens with the milk paint. The milk paint has got some texture in it. So anytime you go in with that your sandpaper, it's going to distress it and it's going to chip off the paint. So I distressed all 3 blocks. Now I'm taking these beautiful IOD stamps. My friend Jackie sells these also in her online shop. So make sure to go out, check out her website. She's got some great DIY products. And these stamps right here, I've never used them, so I can't wait. These are going to be perfect to use on these blocks. So the first thing I did was I went over with my stamps the first time you use them with a sanding block, and that just kind of primes them. Then I pulled off the ones that I felt like I wanted to use for my blocks. And using some IOD black ink and ink pad, I'm just going to ink down the stamps and apply them to my blocks. Okay, y'all, we are at the end of the video. I hope y'all enjoyed it. And do not forget to go out and check out my description box for all the products that I used in today's video. And I also want to give another huge thank you to Bellway for sponsoring the video. Make sure to go to my description box, use their discount code, and remember, you can shop for their products at your local Target store, or you can order them online and they'll be delivered straight to your door. Don't forget, we have a new YouTube channel, and I will leave a link to it down below. Make sure to go out and subscribe because we're putting out new content over there weekly. Also, make sure you are subscribed to this channel because y'all know I load it up with content every week also. As always, I love y'all, appreciate y'all, and I will see you again in my next video. Bye, y'all.